this feel here, as you say, and this is great news for the World Championships coming here in 2 years' time. If this is just for the final World Cup, it'll double, triple for the World Championships.
Well, this sets up a really tough race for Charlotte Kalla, doesn't it? She's working 100% at the moment, trying to close down on Johaug. Kalla, if she's been found wanting this year, it's at the end of the race where she just hasn't had the strength. Johaug, on the other hand, the longer the race, the better she seems to be, because she just sets her tempo and keeps it going and going.
It's a real pity last Sunday, the 30-kilometre in Oslo, I felt it was a real pity that Marit Bjørgen didn't start that race, and I'm quite sure that Therese Johaug would have destroyed Bjørgen as she did the rest of the field.
Well, this is a fantastic work rate going on for second and third position. Marit Bjørgen's in seventh heaven at the moment. She's in the luxury of having time to play with. The gap is down to 1 minute and 10 seconds, so only 10 seconds given away by Bjørgen. Doesn't matter. She will be saving something for the last lap, without a doubt. And we've seen here in Falun that tactics play a huge part, both in the men and the women's races.
And pacing here, it almost looks a little uncomfortable, but Marit isn't stressed out there, so she doesn't quite know what she should do. She doesn't want to feel guilty and just back off and take an easy victory. She's going to keep it strong.
Well, she will have seen exactly what's going on behind her. She'll have made a note of where Charlotte Kalla was when she went through the exchange, and she'll just check up on that next time and make sure that she hasn't lost too much. Bjørgen will have plenty of information to play with on the way round. 59 World Cup wins to her name. She could make it 60 today. It's an astonishing record in a sport as demanding as this, to notch up so many victories. And don't forget, that does not include all the stage races. So the previous 3 days count for nothing.
Which I think is very strange. A race is a race. When you line up against the rest of the best in the world, it's quite surprising that doesn't classify. I think it should classify as a World Cup win in its own right. I know it's in a 3 or 4 day stage race, but hey, it's a win.
You know what? For the first time, we agree. I agree. I don't have any problems with the points issue. That yesterday was 50 World Cup points for the win, with the bonus of 200 being given for the winner today. I don't have an issue with that. I think these mini tours are fantastic. Kuusamo, of course, the Tour de Ski, which is one of the highlights of the season. But I do think that a victory in a race like this should count as a World Cup victory.
I just can't see why it doesn't. But well, maybe they'll consider that at Congress again.
Bib number 6, Heidi Weng, has got in touch with Kerttu Niskanen, so that's the first change in position. Now Weng should be wearing bib number 6. Niskanen in 5. We've seen Kalla already going through, who started with bib number 4. A little bit confusing without bib number 2 around. Just in case you've just joined us, Justyna Kowalczyk has decided not to start today. And apologies, we've tried really hard to find out exactly why it is, and we're left speculating. We both think that it will be something to do with fatigue and perhaps a sore throat. But at this stage of the season, Mike, 15,000 pounds effectively was on offer for Kowalczyk for just finishing second.
Well, I know she's won a huge amount of money.
Yeah, she's not sure.
And the sponsorships are flooding in, but a race is a race. Maybe she realised that she stood to lose more than she had to gain, because she would have started in second, only 45 seconds behind. But you would have expected Therese Johaug and Kalla to have caught her, so maybe she just didn't want to end the season on a negative.
Okay, I buy that, but I would also suggest to you that she did not enjoy being out-skied by 3 Norwegians yesterday.
There's something going on there as well, and they always they let her do the hard work, the work at the front. It's tactical, and that's what racing's all about. And she often says, come on, someone else take the lead here, and she's left out front, so there's some irritation maybe in there as well. Yeah,
perhaps doesn't like getting beaten, but the thing was, Mike, it was her race yesterday. 10 kilometres classic, she should have nailed it.
She's got the engine to nail it, I think, Patrick, and these corners didn't suit her. We would see her at the front so all the time on the big climbs, but she would be overtaken by the Norwegians on the downhill sections, and on these very fast corners really are quite testing today.
So through goes Therese Johaug, one of this season's winners, of course. And on the women's tour, I think we should give a mention to all those who have won races. Kalla is not one of them, wearing 4 in the Swedish colours there. Kowalczyk, of course, we've mentioned, 11 wins. Björgen, 8 wins. Johaug has won 3 times. Randall did well on the sprint circuit, won the overall Sprint World Cup, 5 victories. Now, there are 3 others who have taken victories who we don't usually see on the top of the podium. Falla, Malvaletto and Sterer, each getting 1. Falla, of course, won in Canmore when a lot of the big names were absent, so some would say that doesn't count as much, but it was a World Cup. Malvaletto won in Liberec, the sprint event there, and Sterer winning the skiathlon in Sochi.
Oh, that was fantastic, and she was feeling so good, and those tracks suiting her like they would with Therese Johaug as well, because the climbs were so steep. I was so happy for Steiner winning that one.
Well, here comes the Duracell girl. Therese Johaug just keeps it going, arms quite close together. Look how bent the elbows are. The sort of traditional style of double poling had you reaching a lot further forward, but she shortens the distance between the hands and the shoulders because it allows her to keep that nice high tempo, but it also allows you, Mike, to drop the body weight through the poles as opposed to just using the triceps in the arm.
Oh, definitely, there's so much. There's what, 40 kilos of weight initially with just locked arms, initial plant, and that's where most of the force comes from, that initial double poling plant. And I love, Patrick, the way that Therese, look at how close the hand is to the head, and the head stays in the middle of the track, but the right leg reaching so far up into the track, and that's where she gets her distance for such a small figure.
Yeah, have a look at the angle of the skis as well, because the more direct the line the ski takes, the more distance effectively you cover, but the resistance is obviously greater. I think Kalla just slightly more direct with the left ski, her leading ski, but she's slightly more traditional with the arms, slightly less angle at the elbow and more of a reach with the hand, which is great if you're strong enough to do it, but it does slow the tempo down.
It doesn't. Heidi Weng, the hand is much further away from the head than Therese Johaug, but again, the good reach through the right arm, she's getting good return energy there, which puts pressure into the right foot. Now, all the Norwegians, they've got their own individual styles within a great initial print of perfection.
Yeah, and if your hand is going to be near your head like it is with Johaug, you have to make sure you recover the ski fully, otherwise you can plant the pole inside the ski, and that does not have a good result. Now, great battle going on between 7 and 8. Anne Kalainen of Finland up against Astrid Jakobsen of Norway. Jakobsen at the moment has gone ahead of the Finn. The 2 Finns, I think, playing quite a canny game here. Niskanen has decided to let Heidi Weng do the work, and Kalainen has decided to let Jakobsen do the work, and we'll see which way that turns out at the end of the day, but the margin's still very substantial. Well, I can hear you asking, where are the Russians? It's been a disastrous season for the Russians. We've got 4 Finns in the top 15 of the World Cup rankings. We've got almost the whole population of Norway in the top rankings as well. They've done brilliantly. The Russians, the best they have is 13th position, if my memory serves me right. We'll just check up on that. There's no one on the front page of the World Cup standings at the moment. And we've got Shikalova in 13th position.
It's quite amazing, and with the Olympic Games from the 7th to the 23rd of February at home for them.
Björgen coming back down the hill, and in fact I think Johaug maybe has gained another 5 meters, not much more than that if anything, Mike, and I think the margin when they come through, maybe you can give us the last count. They were 1:10 on the first lap, and I think it's not going to be much bigger than that.
Well, you're right. Well, in fact, Therese has got it down to 1 minute, 1 second. I would love for Charlotte Kalla to get in the slipstream of Therese Johaug. She's trying, desperately trying, but it's extending each time by about a second.
Yeah, she's 11 seconds behind at the moment. Johaug is gaining 5 seconds a lap. Beautiful technique from Therese Johaug. Arms forward, very light on the feet. Nice little dancing step turns. Doesn't try and skate too early around the turn, but does accelerate away from the corner. So maybe another fraction of a second gained. I still think it's too much for asphalt, but if Bjørgen takes a fall at any stage on the last lap, Therese Johaug could find herself just 40-50 metres behind.
That would be something. It's almost a lap of honour, this final lap just coming up now, and boy, does she deserve it. I know she missed a huge part of the season, but every time she's been at the races, it's just been so good. No weakness whatsoever. Her 4 gold and 1 silver at the World Championships. If she can do that next year at the Olympics, then she goes down in a record that I don't think will ever be touched in the women's field. Yeah,
she's done very well here on this World Cup final tour. She picked up the full points in the first leg in Falun. Picked up another 50 points yesterday, each time getting 5,000 Swiss francs as well. Today she'll get 5,000 Swiss francs, plus of course the 41,000 for winning the mini tour. That's assuming it all goes right on the last lap. Watch the clock. They were down to 1 minute 1 second between first and second last time we saw it. Bjørgen heading out of the stadium for the last time. Next time she comes through, she will be able to raise those arms and celebrate once again, something that she's getting very familiar with, and almost too familiar with the interview cameras afterwards, Mike. It must be difficult for Bjørgen, but sometimes you feel you want to get a little bit more out of her. Let's hear some more of her secrets about the training and about how she actually feels.
I suppose it's difficult, isn't it? Because at the end of the race, yeah, how was it today? Of course it was good because she won, and it's difficult for the person asking the question. Maybe wants to go a little deeper with the questions being asked.
59 seconds, she's within a minute, but she started 120, so 21-second gain from Therese Johaug, but she's having to do that to stay ahead of Charlotte Kalla, who's still 11 seconds behind. This is Kalla's last chance. Can she improve on the 3rd place in the World Cup final tour that she's had now on 3 occasions? It's been a great effort from Charlotte Kalla, but she's